Hello everyone, this is Dan with Syntax, and today we're going to go over how to use a Firefox driver and use a Firefox browser. So as we mentioned earlier, please watch our previous videos because we are going to be building upon from the previous videos on the next ones, right? So quick note here, we do need Selenium and we do need our drivers. If you didn't watch our Selenium install and download video, please go ahead and do so. That'll explain how to download and install and configure everything that you need. Also, please watch our Chrome driver video. We're gonna kind of build upon that and not go into too much detail and pretty much do really the same thing as we did there. And you're gonna see that here. Also, another note, which I did not mention in the Chrome video, if you guys didn't have Chrome browser, Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox downloaded on your local machine, please go ahead and do so. If you did not and you ran the code that we have done in the video, you'll get an error down here in your console stating that it can't find either Mozilla Firefox or it can't find Google Chrome if you didn't have it downloaded. Okay, so go to the, either IE or whatever, or Safari, and you can go to Google's website and download Chrome, and the same thing for Firefox. You can go to Firefox and download that as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. And for the same thing that we did in our Chrome video is we need to set our system property. So let's go ahead and do so. We do that by typing exactly as spelled here, system.set. And we can see we have set properties and set property. We want property. Let's click that. Let's go ahead and put a semicolon here and end our statement. And you can see here that everything's right in the world, just about. We have our color, it's reading it, ready to go. Now, what we need to do is put our key and value. And as we talked about, our key and value is what tool we want to use in this case and where they can find that tool. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in WebDriver dot, and if we go over to our drivers folder, we see Chrome driver, which we did in the last video, and we see Gecko Driver. And if you hadn't already guessed, Firefox doesn't have what's called a Firefox driver. They have a Gecko driver. So we're going to type in gecko.driver. And now that we've had what tool we want to use, we need to go ahead and let our system know where they can find that tool in order to use it. So again, we're going to right click, go to properties, and we see this whole location here, this whole path, where we don't need the whole thing. We're just going to go from the drivers folder. We're going to copy, and then we'll go ahead and paste that as our other argument here. And here we go. So also what we need to do, just like when we were using our Chrome driver, is we need to be able to use our WebDriver interface. And when creating an instance of anything, we have to give it a name. And as we talked about our naming convention etiquette, we do name things as close as we can to what the actual item is, if not exactly. That way when others read our code, they know exactly what they're working with, right? It's just kind of proper naming convention. And we're going to say new. And then unlike what we did with Chrome, we don't do a Gecko driver here. It's not going to be the exact same, but we are going to use what's called a Firefox driver class, right? So we're going to do Firefox driver here. We're going to end the statement, and there we go. So we have our Firefox driver, which is using a Gecko driver. We gave the location of the tool, and now we're going ahead and we are calling our WebDriver interface and our Firefox driver class, right? We want to be able to use all the capabilities of both. Now, as we talked about that earlier, we're having this little compile error. We can see the red underline as well as the X over here. Now, what we can do is we can hover over. There we go. We can hover over and we can see here that it needs to import the Firefox driver class, as well as right here, same error is going to be for the WebDriver. Now what we can do, as we talked about that, we can either go down and select import, and we can see here that it imported, or we can do for Windows Control Shift O, or for Mac we can do Command Shift O, and that goes ahead and imports all the tools that we need to import, right? That's here on this page. Now we see here that our WebDriver interface from our Selenium library, as well as our Firefox driver class from Selenium library, has now been imported, and we're ready to go. We're ready to use a Firefox driver, a Firefox browser. So let's go ahead and test that. We're going to use our driver, and a method of our WebDriver is a navigational command called get, and we're going to talk about that in the very next video, navigation commands, but we're going to do .get, right? So now here we're going to pass a string. We're going to pass the string of a URL here, and let's just say we want to go to, let's go to Google for this instance here. So we're going to do https www.google.com. Now, if I had done everything correctly, I have downloaded Mozilla Firefox on my local machine, so it has access to it. I have my drivers correctly. I have written everything correctly. I have my properties set properly. I am importing my interface and my class properly, and I'm using my navigational command, my navigational method here. So let's go ahead and see if I can go to Google. Here we go. And there we go. We see here that I'm using a Firefox browser here, and I'm at Google. And you can see here a little robot here. It's just showing you that it's being right here. Browser is under remote control. Kind of a little cool thing. But that's it, guys. That's how we use a Firefox driver. And we will be talking about navigational commands in the next video. All right, guys, so stay tuned and happy coding.